What is going on, Earth 2 novice enthusiasts and everyone in between, as well as my eaters and feeders? Now, if you are watching this on Meal Prep Biz 101, my primary channel, you're watching this probably a day late. If you're watching this on Intentional Being, you're probably watching this live or shortly thereafter. As I've mentioned before, you want to go over to Intentional Being if you want more Earth 2 content and the most up-to-date and real-time Earth 2 content, because that's where I'm posting things first. That's the only place I intend to be going live. And what I'm going to be doing is some updates. The CEO, Shane Isaac, wanted to get some messages out there. I know he appreciates when other people are echoing his messages and getting them out there, because I know not all of you guys have the time to dig in and find this stuff. So the more easily it's presented to you, the better for everybody. So I just wanted to read what Shane had to say. Starts with Aziz Light. I don't know what that means exactly, but Aziz Light. Not, maybe that's an Australian thing. Aziz Lit. I don't know. He's Australian, so you got to kind of go with it. First off, obviously my code is scrolling at the bottom. Also in the show notes, if you're watching this on Meal Prep Biz 101, there'll be a link to my other channel, Intentional Being. There's a link to sign up for information that'll be even faster than videos. I email out stuff that'll give you real-time updates on land I'm finding. That's a great deal. All sorts of other plans, other stuff. Let me see if I can get that scrolling across. Yeah, and doing referral code giveaway, land giveaway, all that stuff. So let me read this. We have rolled out some significant updates to our servers, and there are more coming over the next 24 hours and beyond. Thank you for your patience. This was not as simple as many think or claim, and now we're slowly catching up. The whole team is working incredibly hard, so please bear with us. A few hours ago, we rolled out updates to our server systems and have been monitoring those updates. They are looking stable so far. The server issue was a bottleneck for everything. I'm sure we've all been experiencing that, including support tickets, withdrawals, update announcements, and so forth, which is why I had to focus all of my time and effort into making sure it was fixed. I will remain heavily focused on the issue over the next couple of days. Then I will be very glad to getting back to my core focus of steering Earth 2. As they mentioned before, and as I've mentioned before, they can't hire too quickly. This is very sensitive stuff. There's a lot of, probably not only the skill levels they have to consider, but also the information, very sensitive information, much like, publicly traded companies or anything like that. Can't let this stuff get out. So it looks like a lot of people have been having to wear multiple hats. So even the CEO is having to roll up his sleeves and dig deep into some stuff, which obviously for the time being, it prevents him from, as he said, I always like using the steer the ship analogy. In my companies in the past, I always refer to it as steering the ship. So I like that he used that analogy. The marketplace will soon be optimized over coming days to load in more, to load in a more performant way. We realize it does not load well now. No, it doesn't. It will be updated soon. Appreciate your patience. I have a specialized team working on the improvements to LIT, which is the land income tax. As you guys know, the land income tax, as you may or may not know, hasn't been getting distributed. So they are working on that. They know it is important. They've got so many fires going on right now between, I mentioned before, every time they have to deal with a hacker or a scammer and fix that problem, it takes their bandwidth away from, the land income tax and improving stuff. I'd like to see the marketplace have more search features, more search filters. Also, some of the data is just lagging. It's significantly inaccurate. Prices are inaccurate when you look at countries and the analysis and everything else. So he's got a specialized team working on improvements to land income tax while we focused on fixing the server issue, and they have made progress. We have just managed to get the server stable, and we would just like to monitor that for at least 24 hours. Then we will consider running some land income tax if all goes well. So we're getting closer. You guys should start seeing, and as they mentioned before, they are going to be paying what is owed. So if you are like me, I don't think I've received land income tax. I feel like I didn't get it. Like it was a while. Like I didn't get it on like from like the 24th, 4th or 27th on. But they're going to be doing all the retro payments. So you'll be getting the money owed and then moving forward continuously, fingers crossed. The servers now seem to be stable and we can complete working on our larger scaling model. Once that is ready, we will release the demo video. Oh, and they talked about that before. The demo video and follow through with more announcements. Now, the demo video, so you guys know, the trailer, that's going to make this thing explode again. Like they held that back because they're like, we're already, getting trampled and can't keep up with it. So once the trailer gets out and people start sharing that on social media, and it's a more concise and articulate way at describing what Earth 2 is. Because right now we probably sound crazy to our friends who are going from like zero Earth 2 knowledge and experience to like what we're dumping on them. I know in my group chat, I've mentioned before, my group chat with friends, they were mocking me and like, oh, don't worry, I'm just going to buy land in Earth 3 and I'll own all of it. And, oh, I'm going to start Moon 2 and I'm going to, like they're making fun of me for buying land in Earth 2. Yeah, they made fun of me when I got into crypto too. But now they're asking, where should I be buying? I'm getting all these texts. Where should I buy in Earth 2? Where should I buy in Earth 2? So following with the video and more announcements, we do have some other exciting announcements, I can only imagine, to make about new key members on the team and high-level intro to the coming Phase 2. Ooh, Phase 2 coming. For you guys who don't know, Phase 2 is about resources. It's going to add another set of economies to the Earth 2 realm, world really, where we're going to be able to develop resources on our land, buy, sell, trade resources, start building some stuff. Because as you guys may or may not know, all the man-made structures, roads, buildings, monuments, all that stuff's going to be wiped out, and we're going to be having to rebuild it from a clean slate. I know many of you joke about my sleep now. So to update, I managed 1 hour sleep in the past 28 hours, forced a 1 hour alarm to make sure I woke to start the new server upgrades. Now things are running a little smoother. I'm going to try getting longer sleep and hopefully avoid nightmares of servers crashing. Man, I know what that's like. Hope you all have a wonderful day. So for those of you who haven't dealt with the beautiful, disastrous nightmare of being in a startup, I've been in a few different startups, and I totally empathize with what Shane is going through and the entire team. I can only imagine what it's like to be going through this type of stuff with this many eyeballs, this much money on the table. So hats off and God bless Shane. Hopefully you will be able to get some rest very soon. While I know there's a monumental amount of pressure on him and the entire team to get this stuff done as expeditiously as possible. Obviously, we've got a bunch of humans doing this stuff, so we can't expect them to kill themselves bringing this to fruition. It'd be very unfortunate for all of us if the masterminds behind this started dropping and having to be hospitalized or worse because of sheer fatigue. So hopefully Shane will be able to, Shane and the team will be able to get the servers up. Shane will be able to get some rest as well as the other guys. I can only imagine what sleep is being lost, because when you see a leader, with my companies, I always want my employees to feel like I am going to work at least as hard as them, partially because I want them to show my appreciation for them and what they do, but also because you want them to also feel like that's part of the culture, to give it all. And because you rely, especially when the team's that small, you rely so much on all these individual people that just one person, like you end up being in a position where one person's like doing 2, 3, 5 people's worth of work. And if that one person goes down or takes the weekend off or cuts out at 5 to spend some time with their family, you can't berate them for that. You can't penalize them for that, but it does drop all that other work onto other people, or it just extends the entire process, in which case you've got, a bunch of a whole world of Earth 2 people, pounding at the virtual gates saying, where's my land purchase? Where's my income tax? Where's my withdrawal? Where's my X, Y, and Z? So what they mentioned before is if you guys don't have an immediate need, because they are trying to take care of the customer service end. If you don't have something that is super important, don't bother their customer service right now, because they are trying to make sure all that stuff is answered. But also, if you're bombarding them with some stupid stuff that isn't time sensitive and it could wait a week, it could wait a month, just wait, because there'll be more of them in the future. There'll be less work on them in the future. They will be more apt to take care of all of this stuff. But right now, like I said, they are trying to be a good company, try to keep up with the customer service as best as possible, even though it might take a few days for them to get to your ticket. But then if your ticket is like, hey, what happens if blah, 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 it's not going to be something that's really worth their time. So try to hold off on that. Now, I have been working with my buddy. Some of you may be familiar with Swole Normus. We did do a podcast show, whatever discussion. I'm not sure when he's going to be posting that. He's going to be posting it on one of his other channels, but I want you guys to check out that. We've been talking about a few different, very interesting plans that we have in the works that I think a lot of you would be interested in. I will keep you guys updated. Right now, it's not even on a whiteboard yet. It's basically some discussions that we've had at the wee hours of the morning, where we're running on enough caffeine to be awake, but not enough to keep us from slipping into lunacy and a little bit of delirium. So I'm not going to repeat any of the ideas yet, because we have to kind of flesh them out. But as soon as they are sketched out and resemble some sanity, I definitely will be sharing those with you guys. But again, if you guys want us to use, I have been doing purchases with the referral codes. So to those of you, I know there's Giovanni and Michael or Michelle. Mikael. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. Rob, a few of you guys, I've already used your promo codes. Congratulations to you guys. I already reached out to let you know, and I appreciate your support. If you want me to use your referral codes, there's a link below. Fill out that contact form. You'll be put into the drawing for that, and then you'll also be put into, and I'm making purchases daily. It's each and every day, multiple times a day. Whenever the servers are permitting me, the server gods, whenever they decide to grace me with their service, I'm making purchases using y'all's referral codes. I'd love to do some live purchases and going through. You guys probably saw the live stream I did with Dan Saturday, and we saw the difficulties that we had because everything was super laggy. And also, as soon as we were telling you guys what we were about to buy and why it was such a good idea to buy it, we had someone like snipe in and grab it. Oh, I've got some comments. Sorry, I didn't even have that on. Let me get to the comments here. My Earth 2 is down as yours. Mine was down yesterday for a little bit. There was actually a message saying, I think it was like a 2-hour span or something. I'm running on such little sleep because I've got this project. I've got some other projects. I've got consulting stuff. So I'm doing a lot, but mine was working today. I was making some purchases today. What's up, brother, from Butternuts? Butternuts, I want to use your promo code. What did you fill out the contact form? Because I know I told you for your early support, we were going to use your promo code. So make sure you filled out the contact form. And if so, give me some non-sensitive information so I could identify you if you already filled that out. So if you want to just tell me in the comments what your maybe first and last name is, that's not super bad, but you don't have to worry about posting your email here. I'll be able to find it. Eric, it's not every day you buy pieces of jade mine and a synagogue in the same day. No, it's not. This is so weird. So I've got mosques, I've got monuments. I own a red castle in Malta. I own, like, it's the weirdest stuff. Like I was talking to my buddy and we're like, we're land barons. We're like, we're these moguls, these mongers of land. And it's exciting because it's all speculative. We're like going back and forth and we're like, well, how granular are they going to get? Like, is tin going to be worth anything? Like, I don't know. I think that like they're going to be surprisingly granular with this. Like, this is supposed to be the thing. This is, if we were going to replicate Earth, all of the expectations on what that means is probably what they're going to feel pressured to meet, right? They might not have jade and diamonds and uranium and stuff initially part of the resource distribution, but maybe they will. Like, I don't know what their plans are. And it's exciting that they're not releasing all of the information, because and you guys have probably heard me mention this before, and I always have this mindset, like if I was behind this, how would I be releasing information and releasing updates and adding new features and everything else with the ambition to make this something that Cody Herbert, okay, Cody Herbert, I'll make sure I use yours. How would I do this in a way that would allow me to make something that people are going to constantly be interested in getting involved in? Now, there's going to be multiple levels to this. Just like, I was telling my buddy, like you could own Facebook stock and not have a Facebook account. You could have a Facebook account and not own Facebook stock. It obviously makes sense to have both of them, but there's going to be interest in this eventually, which, like, I don't know how many of you guys are even gamers. Like, I haven't played a game since my PlayStation 3 burnt out, and the only reason I bought PlayStation 3 is because I was a Grand Theft Auto addict. But I'm definitely going to be plugging in, getting a VR system, probably, hopefully not Oculus, because I got a bit of a grudge against Facebook, but I'll go into that some other time. I hate Facebook. It's a necessary evil in some ways, but they're just so bad. But yeah, I bought an Oculus just to try to get my Facebook account back because they got rid of it for no reason whatsoever. I wasn't posting anything crazy political. The only political stuff that I posted it was a quote, or not even a quote, but it was a copy of my Twitter where I basically said, I think the problem in America is that most people are forced to pick between Democrat or Republican, and most people would probably identify as a libertarian. That was the most political thing I ever posted. They shut down my Facebook account. They don't give me an answer. They just say it was because I violated some kind of community terms. The decision is non-reversible. They won't let me set up another account. I've tried setting up another account. They've got my IP on a block list. They've got my numbers, my emails on a block list. I think even because then I changed my IP, I got a VPN, and I think they somehow are able to identify the MacBook I'm using. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to go to maybe the Apple store and use one of their devices to set up a new account or something, just so I could get back on Facebook, because I'm banned like a leper. What we got here? What land are you going to focus on in phase 2? Is Asia countries going to rise in market value? It's so speculative right now. The stuff that behind my investment strategy, the stuff that I know to be of value are resources. So I've been buying a lot of resources right now because everyone went right to the stuff in the places they know. Everybody went right to Manhattan and LA and stadiums and all the stuff that they know, that they're familiar with, whether or not it was part of their strategy or just like, oh, I want to own a piece of something that's famous. I want to own a piece of this monument. That is good strategy, because despite the fact that everything's going to be wiped out, there's going to be benefit of owning places that are highly trafficked in real world, because people are going to be eventually engaging through AR. And while you're sitting there bored, at your university between class, or while you're waiting to board your plane, you're going to be sitting there and like, oh, I wonder what's here in Earth 2. Oh, okay. And that's an opportunity for me to put an ad in front of your eyeballs. So that's one of the places that I've been focused on, is just highly trafficked areas. And I go into that in other videos, but then also resources. I've been going through resources lately. So any country, here's the one question I have. So you mentioned countries specifically. We know how the land classes work. Class 1, 2, and 3. Based on 100,000, the first 100,000 tiles, the second 100,000 tiles, the third 100,000 tiles. What about the value of like a smaller country that doesn't have as many squares available? Will that become more valuable because there's fewer squares, or is it less valuable because it seems like the price is increasing based on the amount of squares purchased, which is counterintuitive to the supply and demand laws of business and economy and stuff like that. So it's highly speculative. And I think even the owners, the brains behind this also have it that they've been doing that a lot, and it's a load of bull. Man, I probably should have read that in real time. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what that pertains to. Do you guys, but let me finish my thought. I think that the developers are even trying to make this its own thing, where they don't want there to be a control over this. They don't even want themselves to have a control over this. I think they're going to try to design it in a way that's going to be like, we don't know where the value is going to be. It's going to be a clean slate, and we're going to see what you guys do with it. So here you go. Are we going to, 5 years down the road, is Manhattan probably going to be developed, but is there like going to be a big conglomerate of people in the middle of Iowa or Uganda? Is that going to be like where there's a mega utopian built just because enough people bought in with, you know, all the cheap land at that time, and that ended up being developed into this big thing? Like, I think they want it to be something that they're not controlling. So do you think resources from mines will be tied to match exact map placement on the map, or the resources generated in the general area? Again, just speculating. From what they said is it will not be completely random, which makes me think that they will be distributing the resources based on the geography. Will it be down to that 10 meter by 10 meter square that you purchase? No, I think they're going to do some, again, this is me speculating. I don't think so. I think it's going to be based on zones or certain areas where it's like, this area is going to have these resources, and we're picking that because we know there's gold in this area, so we're going to spread it across. But you have to understand, like, they don't even know. There's gold miners out there that don't even know exactly where the gold is in a 10 meter by 10 meters square. They know that there's gold right here. Is there gold 100 meters that way? Is there gold 100 meters that way? They don't know. So they're going to have to come up with some way to kind of like just drop it. And I think it's going to be zones, and they're going to like try to be as realistic and tied to Earth 1. It's so weird that we're calling it, like, I'm calling it Earth 1. I keep on referring to it as Earth 1, and my friends are like, you're starting to lose it, Casey. Maybe I should get some sleep. Man, I have land in Athens and Machu Picchu. I'm guessing that's supposed to be Mahi Picchu. Maybe it's a different place. I don't know. But I really don't know when is the right time to sell to make profit. It's hard. I was trying to buy Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu, I visited like 2 Novembers ago. I thought it was a really cool spot. But by the time I got there, it was like all bought up. I did buy in Peru in different places. I bought an island in Lake Titicaca, because Lake Titicaca, not only does it sound funny, but it's also one of the shocker points of the world. There's only so many of those. So that was when I was just, again, speculating, had even less information about what was going to be valuable. I don't think there's a lot of people visiting that area, so maybe it's not going to get a lot of advertising dollars. But then I don't know. It's a pretty uniquely shaped island in the middle of a very special lake. Mount Shasta in California is another Earth shocker point. I bought there. I think I bought some stuff on Easter Island. All the heads were already bought up, but I bought some other area next to, I think there were like some Brazilian people who bought around there at that time too. I saw some Brazilian flags. But in any case, you know, that's what's kind of fun about this, is like, it's hard to say what is a bad idea. Like, some people were asking, should I buy in the middle of the ocean? Probably not initially. I think that stuff's going to go later. They did mention that they alluded to a possible potential of terraforming. So if we're going to be able to terraform, probably for an expense, otherwise, you know, everybody would turn all of their land into whatever renders the most valuable resources. But if we're able to terraform, in theory, I could buy just chunks of water and just make myself an island and name it, you know, Casey Island, the United Islands of Casey. So as far as, I'm sorry, to answer your question, it depends on where you want to be making profit. What I've been doing, my rule of thumb is, when I have been selling land, and I'm not sure, I keep on telling myself I'm not going to, but then I'm like, let me just flip some land. I really don't care about holding on to this. What I'm thinking is, with things going up so quickly, I think it's relatively easy to try to get at least 50% profit. So if I buy something for 10 cents, I want to be able to sell it for at least 15 cents. And to make it, what I found seems to really get people's attention is at least like a 25% discount. So example, buy something for 10 cents, wait until it's worth 20 cents, and then I list it for 15 cents. To me, I'm making 50% profit, nice little ROI. And then for the person who is purchasing it, they're getting 25% discount. The 25% discounts seem to last they don't seem to spend as much time on the market as like a 20% discount. That 25 number, it's like, oh wow, that's 1/4 of it. Okay, that's pretty good. And then obviously if you wait a day, it might bump up. So if you're comfortable making, selling it at 15 cents after buying it at 10, and then it bumps up to 23 cents and your price is still 15, it only becomes a better and better deal to those people. Now, obviously you could be going on, and as price increases, you could be, upping your price if you're looking to capture more profit. But then, it really comes down to you. I don't want to tell anybody what to do. I'll tell you what I'm doing. But like I said, I try to make at least 50% profit. Right now it's realistic. Once things start slowing down, it's going to be harder and harder to make profit. And the reason I want 50% profit is I want enough money that's going to allow me to go in and buy more. Like I want to go in and buy more land. 100% profit is obviously ideal, and that's not too far-fetched to make. You wait for something to, quadruple, you sell it for half of what it's worth. Again, it becomes like, it still looks like a crazy deal to whoever's purchasing it. And you're doubling your money. So the example there would be, buy it for 10, wait till it hits 40, sell it, put it, list it for 20, and then someone's getting a 50% discount and I'm doubling my money. Or I could sell it for 30. Someone's again getting the 25, that magic 25 number, and I'm tripling my money. So there's a lot of ways. I don't know when this starts getting into the realm of financial advice. So I should put a disclaimer scrolling across the bottom that says, I'm not financial advisor. This is not financial advice. You're risking your own money. Any investment is a gamble, and yada, yada, yada. So how am I doing, Lamas? I am doing well. How about yourself? I can't complain. 2021 so far for me is this is January 1st. The January 1st of this year was the best year of that I can ever, or the best January 1st that I can ever remember. Not only did I not wake up hungover, but I won some bets, several $100s on this stupid betting app that I was playing around with. It was really it's mybookie.ag, and they don't have any more, but they had these bets where it was like you're betting on celebrity couples to just make it to 2021. So all you had to do was bet on these people, whether or not they were going to break up. And I just picked the right ones and made several $100. So that was nice to wake up to on January 1st. And then also I looked at my Earth 2 portfolio, and that was up from when it had been. Now I bought in on the 18th of January or 18th of December, and it really started to take off on the 19th. So I got in at like such a great time. Obviously, if I got in November or something, it would have been even better. But I don't know. I still feel like this is a pretty awesome year so far. Love your videos. I really appreciate that, Llamas. I appreciate the support. I love llamas, man. Llamas. Speaking of Peru, there's some llamas are such cool, cute little creatures, especially the baby llamas. They had those in some of the in our hotel at in Peru. There was we were in Cusco. I think that was Cusco that had the baby llama for the photo ops. So cute. Do I think the market will go down in phase 2? That is a great question. No, I don't think it will go down, because I think that will only bring more interest into one thing I keep on saying to people is, and I'll think about that more and see if I have a contrary opinion. But right now, no, I think there's only going to be more and more interest in this. What I also think is going to happen is stock market has been rallying for a while. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency have been rallying for a while. Bitcoin, did it 10x since this last year? Wasn't it at like 3,000 in the beginning of I used to know this. In any case, everything's been rallying. Now, I've been trading long enough to know that nothing rallies forever. Eventually, there's enough people who go, we've kind of made our money. Let's take our money out. A bunch of money will come out. Prices go down, and these people are holding fiat. And with the economies globally right now being so unstable, not a lot of people want to stay in fiat. They don't want to hold cash, because between inflation that is going rampantly and all the other craziness that's going on, people are going to want to invest in something that has a potential to increase money. Now, I think this is probably where a lot of money is going to be flowing, especially when, the stimulus checks are coming out in a few months. And I think that phase two is going to be within the first quarter. Now, that's just me guessing. I will tell you, I don't know. They said it's going to be in the first half of the year. I think it's going to be in the first quarter of the year. And within the first quarter of the year, we're also going to have people in the States getting their tax refunds. I don't know what other countries and what other time they get that money back, but basically people who are getting tax refunds are going to be like, I've got this extra money. I've been seeing my friends and these people on TikTok and all over social media put their money into stuff and see it explode. I've seen Tesla go crazy. I've seen Amazon go crazy. I need to put my money into something. I've been missing out. And they're going to put it here. So you're going to have the people who are already investing, looking to move their money somewhere else. And you're going to have another wave of people who are going to be dumping money in. Now we're going to have a trailer. As I mentioned, I read that earlier, the trailer for Earth 2 is going to be coming out. So people are going to be, even more aware of what's going on, and more money is coming in. I think, again, I don't know anything. So I'll preface that I'm an idiot. In your opinion, which one is better, owning one big chunk of land or multiple small in one place? I own both. I will say that I can't promise exactly where I saw this. I feel like I read it. Man, it's funny. You know how weird it. Normally you're like, oh no, I saw that in a video. Like I got a visual. All I remember is knowing this information. I'm pretty sure it came from Shane. And I forget if I read it or saw it in a video, but he did say that there will be an advantage later on to owning a big chunk. He didn't say exactly what that is, but he's like, you guys will see that there will be advantages to owning. I forget how he worded it, but that was basically the information. I think I read that somewhere. I think that was one of the maybe it's even something I went live with. I forget. What do you think? They also mentioned, going back to this question, they also mentioned, if you caught the live stream or my summary of it, in the live stream, they're probably all tired and they didn't articulate this the best way. They made it seem like they didn't want to allow us to break up chunks of land that we purchased. Like if I buy 100 tiles, people are like, well, what if I only want to sell 10? Now I've got to sell the whole 100. And also if people are like, well, I bought a tile next to another tile, am I able to combine those? So that was one of the questions. And initially, the way they worded it was, it made it seem like they didn't want to allow that. It seemed like they wanted to make it so that like whatever you bought is what you bought, and it's that chunk, can't be divided or anything else. He then clarified. Shane then went on to clarify afterward, and he's like, perhaps we weren't clear in our live stream, and they definitely weren't. We do want to do that. We do want to allow you guys to divide your purchases and combine your purchases. So that will be coming out. Goes a little bit deeper into that question. What do you think will be the most valuable resource? So here's what I'm thinking. It depends on the depth that they go into. They did mention oil as an example in the live stream when the developers did. So I'm thinking that's at least on their radar. Now, I would have initially thought that oil wouldn't have been something they'd use in this virtual world, but maybe there are going to be a lot of what people like a lot of times don't think of is like, if we all had the ability to fly and teleport in this game, there's a little bit less challenge. It's not going to be as cool. It's going to be a little bit easier. So maybe we are going to be restricted by the technologies that exist in Earth 2. Maybe fossil fuel combustion engines are going to be cheaper than the nuclear fission powered stuff or technologies or something. Maybe we're going to have to gradually upgrade the technologies. What was that game? Command and Conquer. Was that the game where you eventually got more sophisticated technologies and you got to, I forget that game that we used to play, but it was something like this where you get some land, you had very basic levels of technology. You were able to get certain stuff. So I think it was ore that you were able to get out of the ground and stuff like that. And then you eventually got to scale up your technology, get more efficient stuff, and you could produce more and all that other jazz. I think it's going to maybe be something like that, because they mentioned oil, which was counterintuitive, but oil, I'm guessing, is going to be a resource. If we're going to get into precious metals and minerals, I would think gold would be at the top of the list, just because gold You can argue like platinum and all those other things, but are they going to get into platinum? Is it going to be one of the things that they value initially? Is it going to be stuff that's more on a utilitarian value? Like gold is a great conductor. So I could see gold not only being valuable because that's what's ruled the world and been the common, currency throughout, human history. You guys probably caught my other video where I was talking about salt. Also, if you fill out that contact form, I send you a place where I was buying salt, the cheapest salt mine that I found in the world. I haven't updated it. I haven't checked it in the last 24 hours, so I don't even know if any is still available, but that will be a secret video that I send you guys. If you fill out that contact form, you should get that automatically. If you don't see it in your inbox, check your spam. I have a lot of people who are like, oh, I didn't get it. And then they're like, oh, it was in spam. So check your spam. But yeah, to answer your question, let's say they make precious metals valuable. Maybe they won't do platinum. Maybe they won't do nickel, but they're definitely going to start with at least gold, right? Maybe they won't make diamonds valuable. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll make diamonds valuable and they won't consider sapphires, because these are all things that they're not only going to have to do the research on mapping out, figuring out where the regions are, where the mines are and everything else like that, and then distribute it. So it could be that it isn't initially and later on it is, but I'm going for like the most popular things, just like, everybody went for Manhattan and they went for Singapore and they went for London. They went for Paris. They went for the most popular stuff. So the first stuff that I think of when I think of precious metals, gold. Are they going to get into uranium? Are we going to start having, nuclear devices and stuff like that? I don't know, but I think that their ambition is going to be to make this game as comparable to real world as possible, which means there will be so much depth and detail into this event initially. It might take several years to get there, but that would be my ambition. If I was building this, I would make it like this is going to start off as a game, and a lot of people are referring to it as a game. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with Elon Musk's. He's not the first one to have this thought, but it's very popularized and very much attributed to him. The singularity of human beings eventually developing a technology, and he even said it was going to be game-based, where it's a VR system that is so realistic that it is indistinguishable from reality. And that's what we want. We think we want the ability to fly and everything, but then like you'd probably be amazed at how fast you would become bored with flying when everybody can do it and you can do it whenever you want. Human beings just have this, we have this desire to be challenged. And I think that's why a lot of people maybe fall into negative points in their life, is because they're not finding the right challenges. It's either they're either not being challenged or they're over challenged. But finding that right balance where it's like, okay, I can't fly, but I can still walk and I can still take, trains and get around and stuff like that. I think that they're going to go for that kind of balance in this world. But again, this is all speculative, but I don't think they're making this to just be a game. I think I've said this in other videos. They have ambitions to make e-commerce or commerce, I should say, its own economies, all sorts of stuff. And if you guys look into, I'm not super familiar with Half-Life and The Sims and all these alternate life. I'm sure there's other platforms that I can't think of right now where it is like an alternate reality. This has the potential to be bigger than all of them. This has the potential to be bigger than Bitcoin and be bigger than Tesla and be bigger than Amazon, because this is the closest thing to a new planet. Like even Mars isn't as exciting as this. Some would say, some are going to be like, no, Mars is it. But like Mars is a lot of work, and that's a lot of like terraforming and stuff. The stuff that can be done here so much more quickly. And again, with VR and AR dramatically improving, and they're going to continue to improve. Like people have a tendency to base the expectation of things based on the past. It's like, oh, VR didn't work in the past, and it was kind of a hyped up flop in the past. I don't have high expectations. You guys should read this book. The Future is Faster Than You Think. And it's talking about all this stuff that would blow your mind. I don't even want to get into it because it's easy to go down all these other rabbit holes. But I think that book would give you an amazing perspective of what is going to be possible. And then very near future. Converging technologies that are just going to, when we start having AI writing code and developing games and just being given like a premise of a game and being able to understand the rest of what needs to be developed, so a developer doesn't have to sit there and write out every line of code. Like, if you're familiar with coding at all, what happens with coding? What is, how do you compare Python versus binary? Binary was so much harder to code in, so much harder to write in, and the evolution is to make things easier and faster and more accessible to regular people. So now you could learn, with a week's worth of learning Python, you can do so much more than probably a year's worth of learning binary or learning, HTML even. Like, Python is just so much more easy to learn, faster, efficient, powerful, and that's what human beings do. So when you start combining, AI and all these other maturing technologies that are still just in their infancy, but are rapidly growing out of their infancy. Do you know when Saudi Arabia will be available, or do you have an idea when it could be? I think they want to have it. It comes down to, they're not holding it back. From what I understand, Saudi Arabia and other countries, the short answer is no, I don't want to BS you. But the reason behind it is they said the other countries that are still restricted are largely restricted due to legal and or religious reasons. So it's about them, kind of figuring out the right way to do it, to not, I don't know, get sued by Saudi Arabia and, some of these countries where religion and the state are the same, church and state are the same. You definitely don't want to create problems with them. And there's all sorts of headaches, as silly as that seems, because it's a game, right? They are probably slowing it down on purpose just to avoid creating more headaches for themselves. I think that's all the questions I have. Wow, it's already 42 minutes. I appreciate you guys. I've got more videos playing and popping out. Again, if you're watching this on Meal Prep Biz 101, you're watching it at least a day late, because I'm putting everything on there late. It is currently Wednesday, the 6th of January, 4:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know you guys are tuning in from all over the world, and I definitely appreciate that, because I'm catching you at all sorts of times, inconvenient and otherwise. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, supporting the channel. Again, use my code. Make sure you fill out that contact form so I can use your code and stay subscribed, get those alerts on. Thank you guys for commenting. I will be looking through these names and making some purchases with your in the contact form. Put in your YouTube name too, so I can match up the people who live commented, so I could use your referral codes as well. And sometimes, like, I don't know who has and who hasn't, so mention what your username on YouTube is too, so I could put you in the raffle as well. I think they are rolling out updates right now. They are currently, he mentioned that they are rolling out updates currently as far as phase 2 and what other lands are going to be unlocked. That hasn't been mentioned as far as any kind of timeline. I don't know if they're going to tell us in advance. I don't know if they're just going to like drop it on, and then people are going to be like, wait, it let me buy it this time. Hey guys, you're going to, as soon as I see that it's available, you guys better bet I will be going live wherever I am, with or without, a full grasp of what's going on. I might not even be able to make the purchases before I go live, because I'll just be so excited, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I do. Other than that, I will be jumping off, coming up on 45 minutes. I appreciate your time and attention. I know it's super valuable to you. It's even more valuable to me, so I appreciate it. And you guys, awesome. I will see you around.